Hello everyone. Today we'll be starting with the topic an introduction to object-oriented programming. In this unit, we will be learning about object-oriented programming, procedural-oriented programming, and their differences. Before that, we'll be learning about what is a programming and what are programming paradigms. So let us start with an introduction. So, object-oriented programming treats both data and functions that operate on it as a single unit called an object. So, what happens when in object-oriented programming, all the things that is data and functions are operated under a single unit that are called objects. We create objects in object-oriented programming. Object-oriented programming models real-world entities like students, car, banks, accounts, making software more intuitive and easier to manage. These are some real-world examples that use object-oriented programming that are we can see the students have many qualities, small objects like their roll number, their name. Cars have their model type, engine type. Bank accounts have their username, bank account number, like that. So uh, making software for these types of real world examples are easier using object-oriented programming. C++ is a widely used language that support object-oriented programming features such as encapsulation, abstraction, inheritance, and polymorphism. These four are the four pillars of object-oriented programming, and C++ is one of the mostly used language that support object-oriented programming. So this unit will introduce how C++ helps us build modular code and reuse the software by reflecting real-life scenarios through object-oriented programming. We will be by the end of this unit, we will be learning how to write modular and reusable software by using C++ language. These are the six main concepts of object-oriented programming, that is encapsulation, polymorphism, inheritance, message passing, abstraction, and data hiding. So let us start with what is programming. What's one of the most important questions? What is programming? Programming is the process of writing instructions, that is also known as code, that a computer can follow or understand to solve a problem or complete task. We write codes that are understandable by a computer to solve any problem, because a computer cannot understand the normal languages that we use daily in our life, that is English or Hindi. So instead of that, we write codes for computer. It involves steps like problem analysis, algorithm design, coding, testing, and debugging. So when we get a problem or task, we first analyze it, then we design an algorithm for it, then we write the code for it. After writing the code, it goes to the testing phase where we test the code, it is giving correct output or not, and then finally, if it is not working as we supposed it to work, so we go for debugging. So program must be accurate, logical, and well structured. This is all checked in the testing phase to automate tasks and produce correct answers. So a program or code must produce correct answers, else it has no use. So what are programming paradigms? So a programming paradigm defines how a program is structured and how elements like data and functions interact with each other. So uh, there are two types of programming paradigm, that is procedural oriented programming and object oriented programming. In procedural oriented programming, it mainly focuses on functions, in whereas in object oriented programming, all the functions and data is uh, stored inside a class that mainly works. So these paradigms influence how we design, write, and manage softwares. So this defines how we create any software. So first we will be starting with procedural oriented programming, POP. It focuses on functions that perform tasks step by step using shared global value or data. So in this, the data is globally defined and the task is performed on functions but step by step. Follow the top-down approach. It follows a top-down approach. Basically, it breaks the main logic or the main working of any program, like we have a big program in smaller chunks that are known as functions, subtasks, and functions. What are its limitations? Limitations is no strict data control. The data is shared globally, so it cannot be controlled. That which function or which subtask is accessing the data. Difficult to manage large program. Obviously, the procedure-oriented programming is older uh, the method, so it does not comply with the newer large programs. It lacks modularity because it is the older one, and data security because the data is shared globally and can be accessed by anyone. Whereas in object-oriented programming, the it focuses on objects. What are objects? Unit that combines data and functions in a class. So within the class, we have small objects that combine data and functions within it. It promotes data security because the data is hidden inside an object of a class. The data is more secure than as compared to procedure-oriented programming. It is more modular to write codes in object-oriented programming, and code can be reused again and again using the features of object-oriented programming. What are the key concepts of object-oriented programming? We have seen that encapsulation, inheritance, polymorphism, abstraction, data hiding, and one more is message passing. These six are the concepts we will be learning further in our videos. The object-oriented programming follows a bottom-up approach, starting with the reusable objects. So first, the reusable objects are processed so that it can be used throughout the program. Now we'll be seeing the difference between process-oriented programming versus object-oriented programming. Features uh, like focus. POP, the procedure-oriented programming focuses on functions, whereas object-oriented programming focuses on objects. Data handling. In the POP, the data is shared globally, whereas in object-oriented programming, data is hidden inside of classes of data security. In this, data security is low due to shared global data, but in object-oriented programming, the data security is high due to data is hidden inside classes. Design approach. POP follows a top-down approach, whereas OOP follows a bottom-up approach. Modularity. The POP is low on modularity because it is an older one, whereas OOP follows modularity very much because it's new one, so its modularity is high. Code reusability. In the POP, code reusability is limited because we can not use the codes again, very limited codes again and again. But in OP, via inheritance and classes, the code reusability is very high. Sustainability. POP is only useful in writing small or simple program, whereas object-oriented programming is used to write large program or complex softwares and applications.